Hello friends, this is Sriman Telgave and you are learning ASP.NET MVC 5 tutorial step by step. This is part 12 and in this tutorial we are going to understand loop in a Razor Web Engine in ASP.NET MVC 5. So in this tutorial we are going to learn conditional statement in ASP.NET MVC like if conditional statement, if else and ternary conditional statement. How to use loop in ASP.NET MVC 5 like the for loop and Foreach loop. What are the directives in Razor Web Engine and how to use the directives in Razor Web Engine. So those all are the points we are going to cover in this tutorial step by step. So in the previous tutorial we have understand how to use the Razor syntax in Vue. So if you are new with this tutorial, then please go ahead and watch the previous tutorial of this series. That will be helpful to understand more detail about this part. So let's start. So first one is conditional statement in Razor Web Engine. So there are two type of conditional statement, if conditional statement and if else conditional statement. So first we are going to understand how to use the if conditional statement in Razor Web Engine in MVC. So the syntax of if conditional statement is, so in the previous tutorial we have understand the Razor syntax is always start with @. You can see here the if conditional statement is start with @. So the syntax of if conditional statement is if condition curly bracket open and close. So this is the very simple syntax of the if conditional statement in a Razor Web Engine. So we can go with programmatically and understand how to use the if conditional statement in Razor Web Engine. So flip to Visual Studio. So we are going to use the same application which we have created in the previous tutorial of this series. So like the Razor Web Engine demo. So I will open the index view, and to understand the if condition, so first create one div, and inside this, so first I will create one variable where I will say is valid is equal to true. And now I can use the if statement. You can see if statement syntax is if curly bracket, simple curly bracket open and close, and we can provide the condition. I will say is valid is equal to true. I want to print some message. So I create one label and I print simply, and I can simply say this is if statement, and I want to print the value of is valid. So simple. First we have declared one variable is valid and assign the value as a true, and the same variable we have provide inside the if condition. If is valid is equal to true, if the condition is satisfied, then it will display this message. If the condition is not valid, then it does not display this message to the browser. We can run the application and see the result. So you can see the result. This is a if statement is equal to true. So if instead of true I will say simply false, then refresh the page. So you cannot see the message. Why? Because the condition is not satisfied. That's why it does not execute this if statement code. If I check here if isValid is equal to false, then it will check isValid, value of isValid is false, false is equal to false, then condition is satisfied, then it will print this message. So refresh the page, you can see this message. This is if statement is equal to false. So to generate the if statement, it is a simple way. Write @ if and press the double tab. So it will create automatically the if conditional statement in view. So we can provide the condition here. Next we are going to understand Ifelse statement in Eraser View Engine. So the syntax of Ifelse statement is @if condition curly bracket open and close, else if condition curly bracket open and close, else and curly bracket open and close. Ifelse statement, first if statement is verify the condition. If the condition is satisfied in the first statement, then it does not execute the else if and else statement. If the if statement does not valid, then it will check in the else if condition, and if the else if condition is true, then it will execute the if else statement block. And if the if condition is false and else if condition is also false, then the cursor goes to the else condition and it will execute the else condition. So how we can use the if else statement in Eraser View Engine? So we can go with programmatically and understand more detail about the if else statement. Flip to Visual Studio. So just we have understand the if statement. So I will create one variable called a num is equal to 1, and instead of isValid I want to use num is equal to 1. Then I want to say this is if statement and I want to print the value of num. And next one is else if. Else if I want to verify if num is equal to true, then I want to print some message like this. Else if statement. So first we will check if and else if, and last we can also write a number of else if statement. So we can say num is equal to 3, then we can write some code. Else if statement and num, and last it is a else statement. If the if else if condition is false, then the cursor goes to the else statement. Simply I will copy and paste here, and we can say this is a else statement. So first I will refresh the page. So you can see this is a if statement is equal to 1. The value of num is a 1, and I will change the value is 2. I refresh the page. So you can see this is a else if statement is equal to 2, And next I will change 3, num value is 3, and refresh the page. So you can see this is a else if statement is equal to 3, and I will change the value num is 10. So you can see first it will check the if condition, value of num is 10. 10 is equal to 1, condition false. The cursor come to here, else if, and value of num is 10. 10 is equal to 2, condition false. The cursor came here and it will check num 10 is equal to 3, condition false. Then it will goes to the else part. In the else part we don't have any condition, then it will execute this message. This is the else statement. So refresh the page and you can see the result. So you can see this is a else statement, num value is 10. So this is the simple way to understand the if else condition, how to use the if else condition in Razor VB Engine. So next we are going to understand how to use the ternary operator in Razor VB Engine. So the syntax of ternary operator is @ simple bracket open, and first statement is condition, question mark, statement 1 colon statement 2. So you can say ternary operator, first it will verify the condition. If the condition is satisfied, then it will execute the statement 1, and if the condition is false, then it will execute the statement 2. So we can go with programmatically and understand how the ternary operator ternary operator work, and how can we implement the ternary operator in Razor VB Engine. So flip to Visual Studio. So first I will remove this code, and the syntax of ternary operator is @ simple bracket open and close. First I need to check the condition. Simply I will say num is equal to 10. Then I want to display some message. I can say this is a true, or else I want to display this is a false. So very simple, this is a very simple way to understand the ternary operator. So simply what we have did, so @ the syntax of ternary operator is @ bracket open and close, and inside that first we have verified the condition. So num is equal to 10. What is the value of num is 10. 10 is equal to 10, condition true. If the condition is true, then this message is display, this is a true. And if the condition is not valid, not true, then it will display this is a false. So we can go with we will execute the program and see the result. So you can say this is a true. So the value of num is equal to 10 is true, and instead of 10 I will say this is a 12, and you can see it will check value of num is 12. 12 is equal to 10, condition false. Then it will display this is a false. So refresh the page and you can see this is a false statement. So we can verify one more. So you can see is valid is equal to true. Then I want to display is valid is true, or if the is valid is equal to false, then we can say is valid is false. Simple. So you can see here is the one variable is valid, and first we have verified is valid is equal to true, then it will display is valid is true. If the is valid is condition satisfy, then it will display the true, and if the condition is not satisfied, then it will display is valid is false. So we can go with programmatically and understand. So refresh the page and you can see this is a false, the first statement, and is valid is equal to false. So you can see the value of is valid is false. So that's why it will display the false message. So I can see here true, and let's refresh the page and you can see is valid is equal to true. So this is the simple way to understand how to use the ternary operator in Razor Web Engine. So next we are going to understand use of for loop in Razor View. So the syntax of for loop is @for int I is equal to 0, I is less than or equal to number, and I plus plus, curly bracket open and close, and we can write the code inside the curly bracket. We can go with programmatically and understand how to use the for loop in Razor Web Engine. So flip to Visual Studio. First I will remove the previous code. So syntax of for loop is @for simple bracket open and close. So int I is equal to 0, I is less than or equal to, I will say num. I have here is the number value, so it can verify up to number, or we can provide any number like the 10, 12, 100 as per our requirement. Num and I plus plus. Here I will create one label and I want to print the value of I, and I will simply say br tag to display the result in the next line. For loop, you can say simply for loop, and I want to print the result in next line. So this is a simple we have created the for loop. So you can say @for bracket open int I is equal to 0, I is less than or equal to num, and I plus plus, and I have print the value of I. Run the application and see the result. So you can see the for loop is 0, 1, 0 to 12. So you can see here. To generate the for loop syntax, here is the simple way. Write @for and press the double tap. It will auto generated the syntax for loop. So next one is the how to use for loop in Razor Web Engine. So syntax for each loop is @foreach where item in collection so curly bracket open and close. So for each loop is always work on collection. So how to use the for each loop in Razor Web Engine? So we can go with programmatically and understand more detail. Flip to Visual Studio. So I will change the name. So first I will remove the previous code, and so to generate the for each loop, so write @foreach and double press the tab. So it will automatically generate the for each syntax. So you can see here is the collection. So first we can create one string array, so which contain the books is equal to book list. So new string of array, and we can write some name of the book is, so simply we can say C#.net. next we can say ASP.net, or we can say ASP.net core, and JavaScript, Web API, and so on. So just we have to understand, we have provided some list of book list, and this is the collection, and I want to replace here. So, and instead of atom I will say book. @Foreach bracket where this is a book in books, so it will iterate the book from the collection, and the books is the collection. And to display simple, I will create one UL tag, and instead, or we can say I will create one order list, and inside this I will create one list, and I want to print the name of the book. This is the simple way to understand the for each syntax, for each loop. So first we will run the program and see the result. Refresh the page. So you can see here the for each loop, first C#.net, ASP.net, ASP.net core, and JavaScript and Web API. So instead of order list, so you can see an order list. So you can see here the for each loop, the book list, or we can say book list, C#.net, ASP.net, ASP.net core, JavaScript and Web API. So this is the simple way to understand the for each loop in Razor Viv engine. So next we are going to understand, so what are the directives and how to use the directives in Razor Viv engine. So there are two directives, @using and @model. So @using is used to add the model class, or it is also used to the namespace, or it is used to create the form. So how we can use @using directive in Razor Viv engine? So we can flip to Visual Studio. So to understand the directive, first we need to add one class. So to add the model, right click on the model folder, go to add and click on class. Select the class template and you can provide the required namespace. So I can simply say this is a product model, and it contains some properties. So simply say ID, and second one is the product name, and last one is quantity. So open the index method. So here, you can see I want to use the model namespace, so we can use the using directive. So I can say using, so name of the application is Razor View Engine Demo dot models. I can able to access the product model in view. So how? So we can go, so you can see I can create the object of product is equal to new product, and first I want to initialize the property ID is equal to 100, product name is equal to, so you can provide any product name. I can say C#.net, and quantity, so you can say 100 is the quantity. So sorry, quantity is integer. Provide the 100 as a quantity. So next, so I create a label and I can say product dot, I can, so you can see here I can use the property, so I can say product dot ID. So next, product dot product name, label product dot quantity. So simple, first we have used, so simple, first we have created the product model inside the model folder, and product class can contain the property ID, product name and quantity, and we have used that model with the help of using directive in a view. So we can simply say using Razor View Engine Demo dot models, and now we can able to access any model inside the model folder. So we can say we are able to access the model class in view with the help of using directive. So if you run the program, and you can see here, yes, so you can see the result. So to more specific, what we can do, first I will say product ID here, product ID, we can say this is a product name, and quantity. Now we can refresh the page. So you can see here product ID is 100, product name is C#.net, and quantity is 100. So this is the use of using directive. So we can use directive to create the form. So you can see here using, and I can say HTML dot begin form. So we can create the using directive to create the form. So this is the way to create the form with the help of using directive. So next is model. So model is used to provide the type of the model. What it mean? So in this case, so you can see here we did not provide any model type here. So we have just provide the namespace of the model namespace. If we are use the model directive, so you can see a razor view engine dot model. If you are going to work with @model directive, then we need to provide the type of the model, means inside the model which model we are going to use. So for example, product, customer, employee, student, whatever the model we have present inside the model folder, that model we need to provide the type of the model to the model directive. So, and this example we have understand in the model tutorial in this series. How to use the model, then please go ahead and watch the model tutorial in ASP.NET MVC 5 in this tutorial. So that will be helpful to understand the more detail about the model directive. So next one is the view engine. So what are the view engine is available? So there are list of view engine available. So first one is Razor view engine, SPX view engine, Webform view engine, and there are so many. So ASP.NET MVC 5 use the Razor view engine, we are going to focus only on Razor view engine. So first in this tutorial we have understand how to use the conditional statement like if else and ternary operator. Next we have understand about the loop in Razor view engine, for loop and for each loop. And after that we have understand how to use the directives in Razor view engine. So those all are the points we have covered in this tutorial. So in the next tutorial we are going to understand what is the HTML helper and how to use the HTML helper in Razor view engine in ASP.NET MVC 5. So thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel and add your valuable comment. For more detail you can visit my blog www.programmingwithshri.com. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video.